We're going to begin with the village board meeting for September 10th, 2019. Call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. First up, Mayor Chapman's out of town on a family reunion, so I'll be chairing the meeting tonight. Roll call, please. Tony?
Anderson?
Here.
Brockman? Here. DeBold?
Here.
Kirkland?
Here.
Luciano?
Here.
Warren?
Here.
All righty, thank you. Citizens, anybody here? And there's nobody here. Okay, so no citizens. Can go on to the consent. Approval of the regular meeting minutes for July 23rd, 2019. Approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of July 23rd, 2019. Number 3, approval of the work study meeting minutes July 30th, 2019. 4, approval of regular minutes of August 27th, 2019. Number 5, approval of the committee of the whole minutes of August 27th, 2019. Number 6, approval of the accounts payable in the amount of $648,924.44. And last, number 7, approval of payment in the amount of $38,246.37 to the State of Illinois Treasurer for the U.S. Route 52 and River Road intersection improvements.
Motion to pay the bills.
Okay, nobody wants?
I would like to request that items 3, 4, and 5 be
Yeah,
removed.
they're not in there.
I never saw them
I
in
don't
it,
got them.
so.
Okay. So you want to make a motion as amended?
As amended.
Okay, items 3, 4, and 5.
There was a motion to approve the consent agenda except for 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Except for 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
Okay, Tony, roll call.
Brockman?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
DeBold?
Yes.
Kirkland?
Yes.
Luciano?
Yes.
Warren?
Yes.
All right, the consent agenda is approved. Oh, I just mentioned real quick, that treasurer thing at the last one is actually IDOT, right, Tony?
Yes, it is.
And no reports for the mayor. We'll go on to item number 1. It's consideration for approval of an agreement with the Greater Joliet Area YMCA for a market study. Mr. Collada.
Thank you. Before you tonight is a contract or an agreement between the village and the Greater Joliet YMCA. It is related to a proposal from Foursquare to do a market study of this area for the potential programming and or facility associated with the YMCA. Mr. Watts is here if you have any questions, but as you can see in the agreement, it's just a few points in which the village would agree to contribute to half of the total cost, which is $24,000. There would be a presentation to the board of the results, and we would have full access to the results. And as it's written, the mayor would have the ability to appoint half of the strategic or of the survey team, which would consist of YMCA and village representatives. I believe Mr. Watts is comfortable with 6 members for that team, and that team would basically participate in reviewing the survey before it goes out, so reviewing the questions that are included in the survey. I'm here to answer any questions as well as Mr. Watts.
A couple questions. Is that, from the way that the proposal was drafted, is it only going to be a 4 to 6 person team total that's supposed to put this together, or are you talking 4 to 6 people per side? Is the clarification point I'd like.
6 total.
It would be 6 total, as Jim and I have talked, so 3 and 3. And probably myself and 2 other staff persons from the Y and whichever 3 reps that you guys choose from Shorewood.
I think it would be important for either myself or Cece to be on that, since we are the chair of the Parks and Recreation. So just making a comment, so.
Yeah, and this was talked about at the Committee of the Whole 2 weeks ago. It was quite a little bit of a discussion about it. I think we were informed very well from Mr. Watson and the YMCA and how you go about things. And from what I hear, it sounds like you guys really have your act together on how to do all this. So
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be a good thing for the community, for us, and then, hopefully good for the Y too. So, I think we've had plenty of time to look it over.
Oh, yeah, no, the only other question I have is on the page that's referenced market study agreement, where it says the village is going to pay 1/2 the cost when due in accordance with the cost provisions in the proposal. Can this be amended so it says we're not to exceed 12,000 on our portion?
Well,
I just would like to see it in this agreement, our number referenced.
yeah, but Mr. Watts, where'd you get that number of 24,000?
There's 22,000, it references
Yeah, that-
22,000 for the study and 2,000 other expenses, so there's a $24,000 number referenced in the cost section of the original agreement, but I guess for the short version of the agreement, can that be referenced?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Yeah.
We got the quote directly from Foursquare, and you all have a copy of that initial proposal, and so that's where we drew the figure. And I can tell you from experience, it won't go higher than 24,000.
Well, then we'll be safe with you saying, keep putting that in there, 12,000.
The only thing that I would like to add, just to note, is that we're not going to, village's portion not to exceed 12,000 at this time.
That's easy enough.
Can we just
Fair
even
enough.
add that to the motion, when the motion?
Yeah, that's fine, then we'll just add it to the.
Just for the sake of simple clarity purposes is all that I'd like to have that added.
Yeah, and I would like to add one more thing. I would like to add that one of the persons from the Parks and Recreation Committee, including there, will be one of the representatives from the village. And not just that they might be, that one of you guys will be.
Well, I think that's not really a part of this agreement, though, is it?
Well, I wanna make sure
Or
you
should we,
wanna-
I mean, I don't,
We're leaving it open to an appointment, and I want to make sure that one of you do get on there.
I'm assuming it'll be like other appointments, the mayor will appoint them at the, will there be a formal appointment of this, or will it be an ad
I
I
hoc?
thought
or
it was a more, when I wrote this, my intent was that it was more of an ad hoc appointment.
Ad hoc?
All right, well, I just want to be assured that one of the people from the Parks and Recreation is on that, our end of the committee, at least
I
one of
agree.
them.
Okay, well, that'll have to be mentioned to the mayor. He's the one who ultimately, I guess, gets to decide that, I assume, so.
Is there another expense that comes along with this later on? Or is this a total expense by the village at this point?
No, it's the total expense.
So we never have to contribute,
No. This is for the market study. This gets
talking
us.
about down the line? Is there something else?
Well, there'll be more, there's further steps, yes, but this gets us the initial information for the village and the YMCA to start to put together information. Feasibility, for lack of a better term, am I correct, and is that the term?
Right.
For whether or not it could be a sustainable product that would fit in the village. You gotta make sure there's enough interest from residents, their members, our residents, board, for step one. And then with this agreement, that's going to give us some information to share, to look at. And my understanding from there, then you get into a little bit more of a feasibility study if the information comes back is supportive of this process.
It'll tell us membership numbers, and from that we can extrapolate, is the facility, the operation sustainable through membership dues? But it also answers your question about what are the residents looking for? Is it recreation, fitness, senior fitness, youth programming? I mean, we'll have all of that data at the end of the study.
So at the end of the study, we need, to- at that point, we can make a decision whether we want to proceed or not,
Right.
the board.
And the principal of the firm usually comes out. They can present here if you like, or members of our committee to present the final study.
Okay, so this is not, this is just a study and nothing else after this, unless we
No, they come
approve it.
out and they'll interview us, which is the reason for the 6-person committee. And then we all devise the questions and the goals. What do we want out, specifically, what do we want out of this? And so the questions are different in every study from what I understand. And so we'll have a chance to customize it. And then they'll show us multiple proofs of the survey instrument. And then when they finally compile all the results, they come out and present it in person and take questions. So.
Thank you.
I noticed in the, on the executive summary that there's going to be people from the Gallowitch-Y that will be included in this. People like that could be Shorewood residents potentially. I just wondered if there, was Avery considered at all with that? Because I know there are people from Shorewood that belong to the Avery Y as well.
Yeah, we select zip codes, and I think there may be some people that are, I'm sure there are people this way that are members of the Avery Y. There'll be some crossover, or, but one of the things we'll do is choose the zip codes of where we want to study. So we wouldn't want to go into 60544, you know, in
Yeah,
that.
because Avery's out of the zip code and Gallowitch is in the. would
Right,
be the
different zip codes.
But
So
I would imagine you're probably going to go to, I don't know what the zip code is, north of Theodore or north of, well, you know, kind of
Yeah.
north of Black starts to be Joliet a
Right.
little bit, is farther west you
I would
go.
think that would be
Probably
a
be
good border.
included, right, in this? I mean, the Y doesn't care if it's within the Shorewood boundaries.
no, I mean, we want to,
Shooting for target, like you said, zip code and
Yeah, so,
Area.
more of a
I
corridor
thought
span.
the 200 people were definitely not Shorewood residents, but they would be people that were members of the present
Members?
Ys.
yeah, as I remember that, 600 brand new,
would be
600
Shorewood.
residents, and then 200 were
Not residents.
not residents, and you get a good cross-section that way.
We're talking basically not a Shorewood facility only, we're talking about a regional facility, so.
Right.
And then, the only question, and I don't want to prolong this too much, the only question I have is, you have 7,000 members in those facilities, and you're only taking 200 people, it's almost just 1% of them, or 2%. Doesn't give you a good reading of really what they have. Even the 600 you're taking from Shorewood is only like 4% of the population here.
Yeah.
So I don't know how good of a, you know, study it comes back on that, especially on the telephone when, I don't know if you're recognizing the people, it could be someone visiting there that day. I don't know how they go about their procedures, but that's here to be seen when we get done with the study.
I think they qualify and ask, are they a member of the Y now? Have they been a member of the Y in the past? Have you any experience with the Y? And that's how they qualify it. But I think their methodology will be really good and get at that issue.
Mr. Watts, correct me if I'm wrong, but the random selection of the participants is one of the ways that you get at a representative sample, meaning that you're.
Right.
And then you can generalize to the greater population. So you don't, by doing it that way, you don't have to survey 50% of the community. You're getting a small percentage, but it's diverse enough that
Right.
it can be said to represent the whole.
Yeah, they know the threshold of what percentage of you need in order to get statistical accuracy. And so they can explain it a lot better than I can, but I think the accuracy is there, and that's what we're trying to get at. And I think that threshold of 600 or 800 interviews is more than enough, I think, actually.
And you've used this company how many times?
Have I done this study before?
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Right.
my previous, with the same firm, in Milwaukee and Indianapolis, we did it. We've done it a couple times. We did it in Morris for our development there, used the same firm.
Make a point that you've used these multiple times and they've proven
Right.
that they're accurate. That's all I was, okay.
Yes, sir.
I view this as a marathon. We're at the starting line right now. Start getting the information together and we can move forward from there.
okay, if there's no other questions, I'll take a motion for approval of agreement with the Greater Joliet Area YMCA not to exceed $12,000 is our number.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Tony, roll call.
Gold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano,
Yes?
Warren,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brockman.
All right, item 1 has been passed. Item number 2, consideration for approval of a resolution accepting a grant of easement at 412 Birch Drive. Superintendent Dre.
Thank you. This is another easement, and it's in regards to the storm sewer that we're going to start. We'll have a pre-construction meeting on next week that was previously at the last meeting. This is just, if you take a look at the plot of easement, this easement just allows that pipe to reside in that, what would be a new utility easement, large enough for us to have future repairs on it as needed. So we did an appraisal with Joe Batis, and the value of that permanent easement is $100. So upon your approval, we'll be paying the homeowner for that easement and filing the plat for them and making sure that our utility is in the right easement area.
And then, Chris, was there something with the trees? Is that still in there too? You know
This
what,
is the property north and right at the
So
corner.
this is a different
This is a property, yes. Previously approved that other home with the part of the property, a permanent and a temporary easement. This is north of that property at the northeast corner of Birch and Brookshore.
Got you.
We're trying to work with the homeowner to the east of that, so we may bring that forward too, because if you notice, maybe hard to read, but there's a line that is out of an easement on the property to the east there. So we're working with that homeowner on some of his concerns, and hopefully we'll bring that forward in the future.
All right. About a motion on number 2.
I'll make the motion for the village to approve resolution accepting grant of easement 412 Birch.
Second.
Tony, roll call.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Brockman. Yes. DeBold.
Yes.
All right, item number 2 is approved. Item 3, consideration for approval of an ordinance amending the village code of ordinances with respect to public intoxication and begging. This is a first read. Chief Police Klima.
Our legal counsel advised us that recent case law had deemed that panhandling and people that are seeking those sorts of assistance are forms of freedom of speech. Therefore, our village ordinance required alteration. So upon recommendation of council, we've stricken those portions of the ordinance, and it will only in the future apply to public intoxication.
So no more begging on the roads.
Any reason to hold this over for a second read?
No.
If you have questions that you want us to take back and look into, we can take them to council, but it's pretty straightforward. We've talked about this for a couple months.
That's what I figured.
And I talked to the chief about it, and from what he tells me, there's really no way out of it. So unless there's,
Well, we're not the only ones that are
No,
doing this.
it's
I mean, I've
you're
seen
gonna
that
see
in the
this
paper.
universally.
Yeah.
Right.
The press has called around asking for municipalities that have not already stricken it, so we,
Yeah,
eventually
wait.
we'll get asked about it.
the only way, right, if they're in the roadway and they're becoming a hazard, then we can
There
move
are
them along.
provisions in the Illinois Vehicle Code if they're impeding traffic or doing something unsafe in the roadway, yes.
I'll make a motion for consideration of approval of an ordinance amending the village code of ordinances with respect to public intoxication and begging. Waive the first, second read.
Second.
Tony, roll call.
Luciano.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yep.
Brockman. Yes. DeBold.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
All right, item number 3 is passed. Number 4, the big ticket item of the evening is consideration for approval of a bid award and contract to H&H Electric Company for the US 52 and Illinois 59 LED conversion. Superintendent Dre.
Thank you. We had 5 bidders for our next LED replacement program. We're going to be taking care of about 224 different luminaires throughout town, primarily on Route 59 and Route 52 and some of Black Road. H&H Electric was low bid at $155,179.70. Glad to answer any questions.
Just an upgrade that's been in the works for a couple of years, that's all. We didn't do it a couple of years ago, basically, because it wasn't cost-effective at the time, but now it's a little more cost-effective.
At the
so.
time, the IDOT approval wasn't as simple with the luminaires, so this is a good time to do it, and we should have about a 5 to 7 year payback.
I think it's going to improve that lighting all through 59, so I'm on board.
Has
What's that?
H&H done business with us before here in the village?
I'd have to ask Mr. Parthen, it doesn't ring a bell for me.
Oh, okay.
They're a large contractor that's done a lot of work in the area, though. I know that.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just, people that we're know their track record, so.
How many does this leave once we're done with this? Do we know?
So as roadway lighting goes, we have 10 or 12 on Mound Road. And then we have subdivision lighting, Kipling Estates and all, and this subdivision. So there's quite a few more to go. And we budgeted for, and I think we've taken care of our first 10 out on Windstone, out towards Mound Road. We've got some that we've replaced there just to see how that lighting will work, because the acorns that are aiming down, there's 360-degree lighting, so it becomes very bright in everything around it, not just the roadway. So I think we've gotten positive feedback out there so far. There'll be more to come. This is also, last thing is, we're also gonna go for another ComEd rebate. Last year when we did the upgrade, we did a smaller program. We had a $10,000 rebate at the end of the year. So the engineers will work with us on doing that documentation. Should know December, January, what that rebate looks like for us.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to award H&H Electric for the amount of $155,179.70 for the LED conversions.
Second.
Enter into the contract also.
Get that, Tony?
I did.
All right. Roll call?
Warren,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
DeBold,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
All right, item 4 is approved. That's it for the agenda items on the meeting. We're gonna go on to committee reports, and I'll be up first. Manhole smoke testing has begun back in August. Letters been sent out. I've talked about this a few times. So this is from 52 in Garden Terrace East to 55. That's going on. The manhole repairs in the Hunt Club and Vintage area are going on, and leak detection has begun also. Sile Road lift station, that started, repairs, that started yesterday, or was it today?
It's gonna start.
I seen some digging out there today. Yeah, yeah, okay. And then ash tree replacements, we'll begin planning next week, and that's a lot with our tree program.
If I can mention, that's the fall planting. What that'll do is it'll allow all the homeowners that lost a tree, they'll be replanted about 365 or so. And then next spring, we still have a balance left. We'll look at repopulating or replanting some of the trees along River Road and some of the other areas where they were removed in the public right away along our roads.
All right, and you know what, I'm gonna jump back to the lift station repairs down there. They're gonna be working in the roads there at the bridge and States Lane and Sile.
State and Sile, there'll be an excavation to install a temporary plug and valve. There'll be some work under and around the bridge.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a valve that's right in front of the lift station that will be replaced. So there'll be some good excavation there.
Yeah, so what I was getting at, the roads are gonna be kind of squeezed tight. There'll be a little bit of lane restriction. You know, Chris talked about maybe having to close some of that, but he steered away from having to close the road, so.
At this time.
At this time, yeah. Just be cautious in the area because it gets busy down there at rush hour, so there's a lot of cars going through there, so. I just want to kind of make everybody aware. And that's all I really have. Trustee Brockman, Planning and Zoning.
Thank you, Dan. Next meeting will be October 2nd here at the Village Hall, 7 o'clock. Too early for an agenda. I do want to mention that our last meeting didn't have an agenda, but Kelly and Natalie and legal team put on a tremendous program for us. A lot of things we had forgotten about, and they brought us up to date, and really appreciate that. And Trustee Warren, you have anything else to add?
No, like you said, I thought it was very educational. I did forget a few things, so.
We had 7 out of the 8 commissioners there that night, and looked up and it was 2 hours, and hadn't realized it was 2 hours. I mean, that's how fast it went, but really was very fruitful.
Until Dave
evening.
started talking, then
Yeah, that did. That did lengthen it a little bit, but appreciate everybody being there. So our next meeting will be October 2nd.
All right, thank you. Trustee Kirkland, Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. Our fall programs are open and available for registration. Online registration is now available. You can visit our village website for more details and to create your user account. The family campout and ace race were both this past weekend. We had great turnouts for both. Thank you to United Sites Services for donating the use of a trailer bathroom, and also our Public Works Department for all their help with setting up the event. Upcoming events, September 13th, which is Friday, the 13th, Fall Movie Night. Join us for our first ever Fall Movie Night. Come out to the Town Center Park here September 13th at 7 p.m. to watch Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. Bring your blankets, chairs, drinks, food, snacks, anything you want to enjoy an outside movie. September 14th, which is Saturday, is our Touch a Truck event. This year's Touch a Truck will be held at Seni's Four Seasons Park from 10 to 2. 10 to 11 is the special needs pre-party and quiet hour. So if you're interested in having your vehicle there, please contact the Parks and Rec Department. And then September 28th is our Oktoberfest. Our annual Oktoberfest will be taking place from